Man, I wish I knew how to edit these and put them together so it wouldn't be two short ones. You guys, I don't know. It's weird how people like it longer, just put together all in one. And so the ones that are shorter just end up not getting seen as much. And I thought I said a bunch of stuff that, um, I don't know, it seems important. I don't know what's important. It's only important to whatever is important to you is what's important to you. I don't know. Um, but anyways, I said a whole bunch of stuff in that one, and I'm not going to try and repeat it and start over because that is like too tedious. And so I'll just kind of keep trying to go. But she went out and she went poop 2 more times. It's like she had just went out and went right before I had started. It's like, what in the hell? There's always something. Um, I don't know. The health stuff, I feel like it wouldn't be that stressful if we weren't being attacked. If all of our health weren't being attacked. Our animals, our kids, our parent, everybody's. They're after everybody, They're just trying to kill us all or something. So we don't wake up, and that, kind of gives like a confirmation kind of bullet point to the prison planet. If they just think like, oh, we'll just hurry and kill them all off, and then we'll force them all back in, and we'll do another reset or something. But it's not going to work this time because the cosmic mind is ready for a new thing. It's done with that. And it's a time for an expansion. We're going into a new reality, and we're leaving this one behind. But see, it's all these people's grasp on what reality is like holds them back. What creates this fog, this density, this energy that we're trying to get through. And then when you try and talk to different people, and you've got this fog, you're trying to, get through to talk to them. And then but they can't see the things and stuff that you're saying. And there's always these distractions, which I think is the noise that is being created to keep people distracted. But there's going to be clarity. There's going to be clarity. And this week, it just seems like everything is about really getting people's focus on kind of like the corruption behind war and the time of going into peace in all these different leaders, because all these different countries. And I guess I saw one guy saying in Canada or the UK or someplace that they said that their prime minister or whatever said, we're sending all our soldiers over. They're going to drag them into war. And this guy's like, there's no way. USA just pulled out. We'll only make it a couple months. He was like, that doesn't make any sense. But see, that is, all of these different awakenings, like of what catches people's attention and gets them to start being like, wait a minute. And so these different steps are like, it's like throwing those things on the ground, those poppers or whatever, and the sparks flying. And so all these sparks flying is like waking people up. And so they throw these down and sparks start flying and people start waking up and stuff. So the all these things going and playing out in different places is all still leading us to the same thing, no matter how they played out in different places. And don't forget, each soul came to those places, how it was going to play out, because that was going to be a part of what they needed to heal, or, it's get these other perspectives. It's like you go and you can understand something through this perspective, but what if this happens? Then how does that change? So, and it's so vast. Like, it's so vast, the different times you can experience and the different roles you can play. Like, I'm always thinking of, like, there's so many different ways of life, so many different ways you could be living, and different experiences to be had. And only one person can only do so much, and there's so many things. Like, I used to be so caught up in like a New England fishing town. I was like, oh man, that's my dream. I want to live in a New England fishing town. Then I saw lots of scary movies of the kind of rigidity, closed off, But I think a lot of communities, older communities, kind of got like that, like the mountain towns and stuff. I think they tried to close out outsiders because they would see they would come in and create a rift. They would create problems that weren't there because everybody's kind of got their, they've all balanced in together, and then somebody comes in and creates a rift and puts things out, and they've all been kind of accessed by, especially harbor communities and stuff, corporations and takeovers, and they need them for they've done a lot of crooked stuff by taking over those towns. So there's a reason, I think, of those towns trying to close off and keep people out and stuff. But anyways, that to me just seemed like, oh my God, what a cool life. Like there's ones, like I see different people living different lives in different places too. And it's just like, man, that would be a cool experience to get to live, to be a young person, growing up in South Korea, to be a young person growing up. God, there's so many different kinds of places in Africa, even, of different experiences. And it's just, there's so much out there to experience and to live. And you learn by all those experiences, by going through them. You get to learn like what this person had to go through, and you have the feelings on the inside. But one thing about growth is it changes you all the time. So you wouldn't always be doing the same things. And so everything that you add on creates you to do other things the next times. Well, in some cases, because some people get really caught up in these entanglements, these soul entanglements of where they just kill each other back and forth. Like that's a thing. And so they get in these perpetual cycles of violence, or I don't know. But anyways, all different people are all doing all different things, and some souls like they have, I think that they get stuck in these traps and stuff. But also, I mean, they say this place is like a trap. So to me, that the way out is to know yourself. So you know yourself, and you know you're a soul, and you know that you can't just be bound by somebody else's beliefs or somebody else's reality or whatever. And so you have to keep setting yourself free from the programs that have been programmed into us through the indoctrination. So the more that you can set yourself free from those, the more you are letting yourself out of the prison of your mind that you have been, that has been created. I've said this stuff a while ago, because I can see it the same. But it is so much of us creating our own prisons by is the things where you're trying to please other people and stuff. It's like the bars on your prison, because then you got to go into it further. Like, why am I trying to please you? Why would I put myself aside and try and please you and let my own self be unhappy or let my own self fall apart or whatever? And so many people do that. But then when you start looking at it, you start seeing like, well, they're trying to get something out of it. They're not just doing it. They want something. They want somebody to admire them. They want somebody to think they're a good person. They want somebody to owe them. There's a something in it. A lot of times it's a hidden message. And it's not like these people are just bad people. We all do this kind of stuff at all different levels. And so, it's something that you have to kind of take notice of. But so many people have developed such manipulative behaviors that they don't even realize that they're being manipulative, because it becomes kind of like a survival tool. And so survival tool, that was a weird, I don't even know where I got that, survival tool. And so, so a lot of behaviors are really survival tools. They aren't just bad behavior. It's the only way that this person knows how to survive or feel safe. And when it gets down to it, though, all the different souls have to kind of become aware of their own toxic traits, their own pain and suffering, their own bad behaviors. And they're the ones who have to take control of it. They're the ones who have to save themselves. They're the ones who have to pull themselves out of the darkness, out of these holes that, because a lot of people get themselves in deep holes with their bad behaviors, and they find themselves in one mess after another. I did that a lot of times. I'd find myself in one mess after another, wouldn't understand how I got myself there and stuff. So once you start seeing your own bad behaviors, then, you can get a handle on them. They can't be used against you. So it's, but a lot of people don't want, that's hard on a lot of people to see themselves, because they have to live in a lie. Otherwise, they couldn't handle themselves. So everybody's got their own process of stepping down. But it's just coming into my mind, this other thing. But my throat's really scratchy. But what was I? What was I talking about? Okay. So, but all those things create parameters. Like, it's like when you can't just take care of yourself emotionally and see yourself and stuff, then it's like you're creating like you're latching on. It's like I see it like a bungee cord or something. Like you attach yourself to this person. Yeah, it is like a bungee cord, and you stretch it, and it's going back and forth kind of thing. But so then, depending on how many different people you need to like you, or you need something from to feel good about yourself, it's like then you've got all these like bungee cords hanging on all these different people, which they're going to feel the pressure, and that depends on their own emotional health, if they're a part of the game, or if they are learning how to have boundaries and then they're trying to pull away, and then that can create panic a lot of times in the people who are really hooked on. Like there's so much toxic play going on. And so when you can find balance in relationships, and in some relationships you do need to learn how to let go of them. It's like, it wasn't really a good relationship to begin with, and just let go of it. And that is, a part of things that you need to learn for yourself, of what's good for you and what's not good for you, and just let go of it. And so that can be hard depending on you, or it can be cleansing. It's all, dependent on you, the doer, and how you feel about things. I would think at a certain point you would start feeling cleansed. If you're doing this stuff, you would start feeling cleansed. You'd start feeling lighter. You'd start, it might be hard at first, but then after a while you start feeling like, man, gosh, I feel better. Like my neck's not hurting. Like there would be aches and pains that would go away, because people don't realize like these energies create like these things, which it goes further into, starts becoming disease processes inside of people. But yeah, when you hold on to things, it holds different places inside of you. And so, and then plus all those, bungee cords holding on to all these other people, needing something from them, is creates your prison, because then they need something from you back in most cases, and they need you to be a certain way and stuff. And that's what has bound a lot of people from being themselves, because you need to be acceptable to them, and so you lose yourself. And so many people have lost themselves. They don't know who they are without these other people giving them feedback, even if it made them angry and they would think like, I'm not like that. There was a lot of people who keeps themselves in these toxic relationships, like, so, but it's a prison to you. So the more you can release, and that's not just, saying like nobody matters, nobody's opinion matters or anything, but it's not your identity. It's not who you are. You're able to figure out who you are, and then you can see like what they see is just a reflection of what's inside of them. So how they feel about things is the parts of you that they're picking up on, and it depends on what their balance is between their dark and light, of what they lean into. It's not really a true reflection of you. That's why you're always having to kind of change yourself, subjugate, I heard, which I'm not sure what, but it is that you have to change yourself to begin with, to be acceptable by them. So and then a lot of times then people start making demands of other people, like it's a trade-off or something. Sometimes people will trade off toxic things, like like they'll get caught up in their toxic behaviors. Well, if you don't talk about mine, I won't talk about yours. And then they just keep draining down and becoming more toxic. And so you should have a partner who, not like, everything is like a fine line, because you want to have a partner that will give you feedback, but you don't want to have a partner that is just constantly telling you what's wrong with you. But you want somebody who's honest with you, but it's not somebody who their honesty thinks it needs to change you. It's like to give you space to be able to be yourself. And so we shouldn't have to be conforming to what other people think, but we should also have people who are honest with us. And we should be able to take feedback and not fall apart. We should be able to see like, okay, well, that's their opinion. It's valid, or however you want to look at it. So, but it shouldn't be, like, okay, well, they said this, now I've got to go be this way, because I'm too much of this, I'm too much of that, I'm not enough of this, I'm not enough of that, so I need to become this, because, you've got to validate what it is you want, what it is you think, not just what they think. And so anyways, that becomes a prison of that holds you. And so many people are bound into these prisons of like, you got to be this way. Like that's one of the things with the liberal agenda. It's very much a prison, and people don't realize it. That's why it's like a Stockholm syndrome or something. They don't realize that they're being bound and controlled, and but there's something that they get back from it, like the illusion of feeling like they are accepted or something. But that was all, a fluke. It was all pretend. Nobody is more accepted. And one thing too, because the people are getting all about the trans thing or whatever, and I don't know, I maybe said it yesterday, but one thing I think that is important is to realize, like, they're not saying you can't be trans. You can be trans, it's all you want to be, but you can't get this is to also protect kids. And so it's to try and get things more level, because yeah, this has gone way too far. There's people who are transitioning their 1-year-olds and 3-year-olds and stuff. Like, give your kid a goddamn chance to figure out who they are before you start telling them. And in this whole, there's 1,000 million genders, then why they only let you pick 2 in surgery? It's like, all their shit is just nonsense. But the people who are imprisoned into that, they follow these, there's some connection. And okay, so just like how there's certain places that we have connections to, there's certain thought patterns or things that people have connections to that they need to heal. So all these different things in different places, so the things that the places you're going through, that has things to do about your own healing. It's not by accident. There's no accidents. It's not by accident who you involved with, who you talk to, where you are, what's going on in that place. It's all was set. You are there for those experiences because it was going to benefit you. It somehow throughout it. It's not like, I mean, souls can do things that don't benefit them, being service to others or whatever, but there still is a benefit. And so, but, you know, it makes it sound kind of like, oh, well, soul's only going to do what benefits it, which, you know, I mean, you can see souls don't. See, souls put themselves aside that don't benefit themselves at all. This is like the battle to find balance, to be able to be in the more in the middle. And there is no exact middle because everything is so much more gray. It's like you got to find yourself out of the black and white thinking and find yourself comfortable in the gray, which is so much more of a vagueness, which can create a fog. And then you have to be able to see through the fog. And is the it's funny because now as the holes are coming through the fog, now I see it as like some kind of cartoon land where there's like Pegasus flying around, unicorns. It's like cartoon colors and stuff. So it's the way out is yeah, it's the way out is the in, how they say that. The way out is going in. And it's so do the work, you know, of taking yourself out of your own prison. But it's like this whole mind expansion and stuff. And it's to release yourself out of these parameters of what you create for yourself. And I swear to God, flesh and blood is like a big one. And like we don't even need their medical, like we heal ourselves, we fix ourselves and stuff. The reason that we're having problems with that is because they're poisoning us, they're depleting us of all of the things that we need to keep ourselves going, and they are lying to us and keeping our energy drained and keeping people distracted and then telling them where to look. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and that is the, you know, the thing that makes it hard, like with the animals and all of our health and stuff, is they keep trying to make us sick. And so it's very frustrating at this time because, you know, so many people are sick, and it's like, I'll just be so glad when whatever is going to go. I was seeing it now, like this lightning strike or something in a storm, and that just sets everything going. It sets everything aglow, starts the change. It's like Zeus throwing a lightning bolt down that just it reverberates out change. And as the color goes, it's like in the never-ending story of the light going out and overtaking the darkness. And so I just wish we'd hurry and get to that part, even though it's going to probably be super dramatic and super horrible when it happens, because I still think there's going to be a big reduction in the population. I don't know how, you know, I don't know how it's all going to play out, because I know there's going to be storms, there's going to be a lot of stuff. There's just going to continue to be a lot of stuff, because Myrtle Beach is now the next, you know, Lujan, you know, all these places that they are doing now. They did Myrtle Beach, and it's, they've even got news clips. It's marked for a 15-minute one, and now they're burning it down. That's what I'm saying, is there's so many people are homeless. And another thing with the Florida housing crisis, now realtors are refusing listings and stuff because they've got so many and nobody's calling on them. Nobody's trying to see them. See, it's going a little slower than, you know, I just wish everything would go faster, but I'm ready and willing for this change. There's other people who are very lost. They're all in their cages. And, yeah, it is like these lab cages and stuff, but they're all in their cages. There's some of us who are out here, you know, we want to hurry and open all the cages and let everybody out. But it's, there's like a timing on everything, because the timing is what everybody is here for. Your soul is here for these significant changes, because it is, the path, it's the stairs, it's the walking to this other state of being. To me, that seems like enlightened. So you pulled free from that, and you are enlightened, and it's like your higher vibration, so you're a lighter and stuff. So that's where we start, you know, being able to be like shapeshifters and stuff like that. He's pulling free from that. We can't be shapeshifters because why can't we be shapeshifters? We're not really flesh and blood. That's a story they told us to keep us bound into that world. So there's all these things are our states of mind, of our expansion, and then we can get ourselves up to become, you know, like those beings and stuff. So they're not monsters. They're beings that are able to shapeshift. They're able to take different forms, and some, you know, can project and make you think you see something. It's all, I think there's a lot of different things, you know, we'll see when we start learning. And it's weird too, is because I think that we already know this stuff, but we're learning it on a new level. And so it is, it's an expansion, but I think that there's a lot of things that well, I don't know if every single soul, like, I don't know, because everything is all these different levels and stuff, and different vibrations and frequencies, but I definitely think that there is souls that are here that have, you know, that it will be easy for them. There's going to be a lot of these things that are going to be easier for people. But see, you also wouldn't be in the vibration of shapeshifter, of tricking people, like tricksters. That's a lower vibration. But it still is like they're having fun, but it's a lower vibration. But you wouldn't be, that would be like a lower vibration thing. So it would be more, I think the way that shapeshifting will be more of people representing themselves is how they see themselves, how when they love themselves. And so, because there's people who were seeing those QHHTs, and they kept saying all the people up after, when it gets to the age of Aquarius, everybody's super fit, everybody looks like really good. Everything is like, the people who would always say, they say, well, I look like myself, only way better. Like everything is just, I look way better. Like my hair's thicker, my everything is, you know, my lashes are longer, whatever it is that you like. So you start representing yourself in that way. So I think that's kind of where we all kind of go, is to represent our avatars as just, you know, good looking. So the world becomes a lot, you know, a lot of good looking people or something, because most of the people who, a lot of the ugliness in the world is from our own self-concept. So we look at ourselves like we're not good enough, we're ugly, and so it creates a world of ugliness. But it's not like where people are truly, you know, ugly and stuff. I mean, most people are so interesting looking. You know, I find that most people are very attractive. I don't find, you know, it all depends on what you look at. I mean, I've seen some that are kind of creepy. Like this, who was that? What was that? Was it a movie clip or what was that? It was, oh yeah, it was a movie clip. I'm gonna watch the movie today. I haven't seen it yet, but it's the prisoner guy who's committed the crimes. He was castrating young boys or something. And, oh, he was pretty creepy looking. But he is like, he looked creepy. Like he looked like, you know, when they show you, like in Wrong Turn, you know, these inbred creepy people that come out to eat people, which there's supposedly some communities like that that are out there hidden, that's not fake, that's real, and that a lot of them are cannibals. But that's what this guy looked like. So there's people who are, you know, creepy looking. I'm not saying like every single person's beautiful, but I think most people are, have an attractiveness to them. They have a, you know, I don't think that really that all the people look that much different from each other, you know, to where we start being like, oh, that's a good looking one. That's such a personal thing. Oh, I think that one's attractive. I think that one's attractive. I'm not that attractive. And I'm sure it has something also to do with vibration, or maybe you know these ones and you don't know those ones, you know. I think we get too caught up in the artificial part of it over what's good looking and what's not good looking, to the point where people are going and getting, you know, Dr. Frankenstein in on the story. So I think, like, I'm always saying, I think this is way more about learning how to love yourself and not changing yourself into, the acceptable version of yourself. But anyways, as this progresses and stuff, and people do learn to love themselves, I think that's what they're going to start representing out, is that they're going to radiate the love for themselves, and they're going to look like their best selves. So I think it's kind of more like that. But it could be that we're just like, I don't know, I want to completely look like, and like, I want bright green eyes. Like, I don't know. As I've also heard that there's stuff in the med beds where you can do that. I've heard in the med beds, the girls can go in there with short hair, and these girls who've, messed up their hair and all that stuff, they can go in there and grow it all as long as they want in the time that they're in there. So, I don't know. Wheeze. So we'll have to see, when we get our chance to go in there, just see what's up. Because there's a lot of stuff that we don't know. It's, it's got to play out. And to me, though, we're in this big, and it all goes together the way it's going for a reason. I mean, we could sit here and, try and analyze it and come up with the things we think would have worked better, but the universe has got the bigger picture. There's a bigger picture that we don't see. We only see what's here around us and what we can see behind, and some of us can see ahead, but it's vague, a lot of vague snapshots and stuff. It's hard to put it all together to know exactly how it's all going to go and how it's all going to play out and stuff. And so it's but the more the people who are kind of, I don't know, the ones in charge or whatever, I don't know, because I'm always yelling at the universe, ah, but that is a further out picture. And so, whatever is going on is playing out the way it's supposed to play out, and that's the way it's going to play out. And we can sit here, all day long and say, well, it should do this, they should do that. If we all had our money now, everything would be, but there's a reason. And then all these different souls are here to play out these reasons, because it's going to show them themselves throughout the play out. And so, we have to play it out. We got to play on through and let it roll out the way it's going to roll out. So it's just a natural rollout, a natural unfolding, and we can't rush it. We can't make it go how we want. So, but it seems that, I know the peace treaty is a big part of the BRICS and the gold and everything, and the equality, and about that, peace on earth and for 1,000 years or whatever. And I don't know what, if it's like 1,000 years, okay, time's up, now we gotta go. I don't know. Is it going to ascend? Is the earth going to ascend and then descend? Because that is something that also souls do. So you go up and down, because coming down into this is descending from the higher, wherever you can be, however high you can be. It's coming down into the density. So it's like us being up here on the shore and then deciding we're going to go to the bottom of the ocean. So, as the soul, and then the density as it goes and goes and goes down further and further and further. But when you get down there, there's some, worlds that are down there. And so everything is different realities and stuff like that. But, oh yeah, because if it is down in the darkest density, and it is one of these realities where they're being tricked too, then that is the low vibration of what the lie, living in the lie. Because when a soul is living in its truth, that is the higher vibration. So, but then there's also, okay, so like the ocean is kind of like the sky, like how we think the sky, things have to move through it, but the ocean can be ships moving through. Oh, they could even go, it seems like they could go down in the lower vibration, but then go through and come back up into a higher vibration. Oh, maybe that is like a way to go under the ice wall or something so that they can go out. In it, I saw a thing about these maps and these older maps and stuff, and the maps that they started trying to hide is the lands outside of the ice wall. Oh yeah, because that picture too. Oh, this was a creepy looking guy, because it was somebody who was captured and they said that they were from the other side of the ice wall. He was creepy looking. He was creepy looking. He said he escaped from here, went over there, and then had to come back here or something. I don't know. But anyways, he said he was from the other side of the ice wall, and it's supposedly super beautiful and higher vibration. But so if we're in a firmament, like if we're in the bubble, then if these ships, like these portals, like everything is this density of these frequencies, but if it goes down through the ocean, it can come up into other places. So it doesn't just go down and stay in the low vibration, it can go down and go back up. But we are down in it because we are living the experience. But see, there's all these different things going on all the time. And, we think, I think humans think like whatever's going on in their life is the most significant thing. And so we're all in our own problems and stuff like that. So we get very focused that that's our life. But life is so much bigger and broader. There's zillions of people having these same kind of things, and it even expands out more and more and more and more. So it's, other beings and other places, other creatures. Like there's just a lot. There's a lot going on, and I don't know. The more we see, the more it's kind of like they got to give us our freedom and our abundance, our birthright. And then maybe it's through exploration, but there's going to be something that's going to expand people. Like supposedly whatever is going to happen too is going to change like the religious people's, like it's going to flip everything upside down. And if it's going to be, aliens coming to explain things to us, or however it's going to work, I don't know. Because it's just like you got to just keep on, let it go, let it just roll out. And it can be tedious, but that is to show you your own self with your own impatience. And I heard somebody saying, oh, it was a girl who does those QHHDs. She said there was tons more souls that wanted to come here for this, and they didn't get to. There wasn't like enough body, there wasn't enough storylines. And so all of us who are here getting to play a storyline are very lucky, because there was a lot more that wanted to come in, but we all got, she said, it's like we all won the lottery because we all got it. And there's tons that wanted to come in, because this is such a, it's such a big thing, this expansion. And so lots of souls wanted to have it, and not everybody got to. So, everybody who's here has a lot more abilities and stuff that they think, and they can start listening to themselves more naturally and stuff. But that's where I feel like that this interference is created, and I feel like it's really important for you to get into the conversations in your mind and start really realizing who you're talking to. And so realizing like who's the darker energy, where those messages come from, how they make you feel, and then try and focus more on the light. And the light to me is always, asking questions, but you got to, when you ask the questions, you may not want to hear the first one that jumps in, is the most aggressive. You want to wait until you can hear the quietest, calmest. That's the where you want to be listening, and that's where you'll get more, where you're just like, oh, because it's like the other can feed off of your thing. It can get you going, but it's not always like the best thing. So to me, it's always wait and listen to the calm, the quietest voice, and see what it has to say. And then that will give you, but it could be for other people, I mean, that's where you got to figure it out for yourself. You got to figure out your communication for yourself. because it is so individual. And so to me, though, um, the darker energy that feeds more off of your like, yeah, yeah, why, how dare them, kind of like it feeds into those emotions. And so it will make you feel like you're doing something, but then when you don't react, so that's a big thing about don't just react, take time to wait until you get through all that noise to get to the higher mind, and then the higher mind starts giving you more like where you find peace. Yeah, yeah, who cares? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. And it is just a calming thing, and that's where you start finding control of your emotions and not being reactive and stuff. It's because dark energy like promotes that, because it lives off of that kind of spark of energy of because whatever you do, then it's going to have a reaction in that person, and then you get like this little reactive battle going back and forth, like trigger back and forth. And so it's way better to just not listen to the first thing that comes into your mind, and to just let it be a part of the conversation. Because it may be something that you need to realize, it may be something that you need to think about, but you don't need to react about it. And then you just keep going and going and going, and then you just get more thoughts coming in that will give you more, where you find yourself like, yeah, I don't know, it just is like you just let go of a lot of stuff. It just is like you just see it from a different way. You see it from a different perspective. Sometimes, you may see it from their perspective and then be like, yeah, I mean, I've no like, and everybody's allowed to live their life through their perspectives, So you can't shame people, for how they feel and how they think. And that's where you can get so caught up in that. It's like how you feel and how you think is the most important thing, when it's not. Everybody has their own equality, their own thoughts, their own perspectives, and we shouldn't be trying to beat it out of anybody or take it away or overshadow or any of that. We should allow everybody to be able to form their own selves and their own opinions and their own, because everybody is held accountable for themselves. As a soul, you're held accountable for yourselves. So it's best not to get yourself all entangled like that, to where you're telling them like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, and all of that. Because then if you have somebody who surrenders to that, then you have an entanglement. And so it's best, even if somebody's trying to with you, to recognize, oh, this is so I can learn my own boundaries, learn where do I start and stop, and where do you start and stop, where do we go in this in between? How can I find it myself without interfering with yourself? And you don't want to be overshadowed, but you don't want to become the doormat either. And so it's a proper balance between all your different relationships, and they're all there to bring different aspects to you. So you have a whole lot of different things to balance. And when you have a whole lot of different friends, you have a whole lot of different things and a whole lot of different people to find balance with. And so, it can be challenging, it can be overwhelming, it can be tiring, but different people came in to experience different things with these different souls. Nothing happens by accident. Everything is pre-planned. It's already, written, like it's all written in the stars. Like I've said, it's like everything is written in the stars, but you come in to experience it, to see what it's like. And because you learn from the stuff you go through. So there's a purpose. To me, everything is just to trying to understand the purpose, the reason. There's a reason this is happening. There's a reason that's happening. There's a purpose behind it. And it always seems to just go back to the soul's unique ability to expand itself, to learn, to grow, to become more elaborate, to become more complex. And like I said, it's like a library of information. It's like, you know, uh, like a folder in the consciousness of the universal consciousness or something. Everything that you learn and know and and stuff is like the folder. It's like we are the Akashic records. We are the records of everything we've experienced. It's like we are a book on the shelf, you know? And so everything that you are is becomes through experience. It's the expansion of becoming. And so, but to me, it all makes sense about reincarnation, whether you look at it on a plateau of flesh and blood and being born into different bodies, or you just look at it through like a dream state of experience and being able to go into the experience in different depths of consciousness. And so this one is like a deep one. This one is you're birthed in through someone else, but it's like you're connected to all of that lineage. Like to me, it's like a relay. And every time you got the baton, everybody's just passing this baton, and we're all linked through these different lessons. We're joined, and so so it matters. Like it matters to all of your lineage, but also you, the structure of the DNA of who you are. You carry the structure of all your different lives, and you have come in and been different people through different periods of time. So you have been different eras, different, like you have been in ancient man, you've been in Roman times, you've been in, whatever ones that you felt drawn to or whatever. I feel like it's things now that you're really drawn to is like your insight into your connection into those things. And so the different periods and the different roles that you've come into play in those periods of time to learn, which it's so many different, like that's what I was saying, like, man, you could come in and play thousands of different people and have thousands of different experiences in different times and stuff. So there's so much to learn and to grow from going through those experiences. And that is the expansion of you, but it also is the structure of you. It's your DNA code. And so, yeah, you will carry on features and stuff of different aspects of yourself too, which I think, I think that is real. Like you have different parts of you that are parts of you from other lives, not just like your great-grandparents and stuff like that, which also I keep getting it in my mind over this reset thing and it being so much like closer, and how our world is such a lie, but how much of it is, like, it's like we've all been read this story time, and it's all this lie and we've all believed it. But how far does it go? Like, were our grandparents, or, because it's weird, because my mom remembers her grandparents, and then, we can't ask them, but at some point, was it just like a host family? Was it just like the clone kids from, and that's where they started expanding their new experiment? And so I don't know, because in some of their places, like you go to China or Denmark, like there's different places that are super old. They haven't gone in and wiped them out and done a reset there. And so here where we are, though, and I don't know, all the resets, but there's just an obvious reset that they did when they came here, and they burned down all those old buildings and stuff, and then built on top of those buildings, and then made up stories and told us there was nothing there. And then you start finding out about the state bear thing is so weird, but then how they burned down all those cities. And then the weird thing about, that, the Yahtzees and that whole hollow thing that happened. And then I've seen people who've like gone in and researched newspapers, and here they tell us like I was in the 1938 to 1942 or something, and then in these newspapers, though, it said it was going on in like 1910 or 19. So back at this time of this research, so I don't know. There's just like so, even the giants, like people were finding all these giant bones. The Smithsonian was the caretakers of the information and going to bury the information and hide it from us. But that's also, what I've been talking about is nicotine is what they buried the information. They just bury information, which my mom, she didn't, I didn't think she would do one before she went to church. But so I think she's going to try and do a half of one today because she wants to keep doing it. And so she's going to try and do a half of one. I still am really, now I'm going into, this will be going into my second week. And I'm going to do the whole 30 days. Is I don't have any side effects. I don't feel anything. It doesn't feel like anything. It feels like there's sometimes, when I first put it on, my skin will feel irritated in the place and itchy. But then after a while, I just don't, it's like I don't even remember where it's at. And I don't feel any weird stuff about it. So, but see, she had high blood, she was having to take high blood pressure medicine. And so, but then her blood pressure has been being really nice and low and even. And she's been really focused, on her health and stuff. And now taking that was making it go up. And so, I don't know. But when she looked it up, it did say it was a side effect. So, anyways, we all have to maneuver and figure out our own stuff. But I'm hoping that it's making this thing go away. Which there's something going on in my eye too. The other day there was like a pop in it. It was really weird, and all of a sudden I could see like better. And yesterday I was doing this peripheral thing, and I was in the kitchen though, and doing it with my mom there, and the lights were on, but everything I could kind of see, it wasn't just black, it was kind of foggy and faded out, so I could see something though. So I don't know, I'm hoping that these, patches are helping with my stuff. I'm hoping that it's doing whatever from the inside on whatever was going on in my belly button and my eye, and who knows, like, fuck, I had Hep C and I didn't even know it, and they didn't diagnose me then. They diagnosed me after the fact. But when things happen like that, it's always supposed to happen that way. I wasn't supposed to know ahead. I was supposed to not know. I was supposed to get sick. I was supposed to find out later so I could see the abilities of our body to heal, because that has been something that's been being stood out to me throughout all these different things. So let's look at my tooth, as a matter of fact. Oh my God, I've already been talking 52 minutes. I'm just going to listen to that first video. I really did think that the first video, I did say a lot of stuff that, so anyways, that is how it is looking at. It feels sensitive for sure. It's definitely sensitive, and it's still a baby at like when I'm chewing and stuff. So anyways, let me think if there was some other stuff that I was gonna say. But anyways, it is about people being able to break free from their own prison. Like the prison that they gave us, but you created it for yourself. So they could kind of try and bind us, but it's like people's own perspective and perception is what keeps them trapped. That's why it's got to be such an expansion and this revolution, this evolution. But the evolution does create a revolution because it creates a change. And that is what, we have all going. And I think that is it is almost like there's a refusal in some people's part to want to wake up. They don't want to. And so it's that energy that creates this density. So this darkness, it's not just the dark energy trying to hold us. The dark energy is using the ignorance and the lack of motivation or the lack of self-esteem. They're using it to hold and to create more of this fog, this density. And so that is where it feels like it's so heavy, and everything is so heavy, and it does feel really heavy to these people. but that is going to break free. It's going to break loose. It's going to keep having these holes poked into it. And so, however, it's going to go with the money thing. But, the peace, I mean, that's what's important too, is just left on our own. We'd all be able to figure it out. We don't need to have stores and all that stuff. That's all something that they sold us, which is very much distracting for us, for our own just time of being alive. That's going to be such a huge change in priorities when people start really deciding what is important to me. What do I want to do? And, it's not going to be a lot of, I mean, there's going to be a sense of having to work, I guess, to keep communities or keep things going, but I think there's going to be a lot of AI, and it's going to not be working the same. It's going to be working very different. People are not going to be working all their hours away, and so many people are going to pull out of that kind of stuff. Like, I think it's going to keep pulling out and pulling out more and more. But see, it could also, because then I can see how, it's just, it's different, like, way of life than it is, but it can be, things keep collapsing and collapsing, and people just keep moving out and moving out, and it just starts forming into these other communities and stuff. So we'll just have to see, because we got more to go. We got more things. We got more storms. We got more earthquakes. We got, I think we're just, I mean, there's such a big part of this awakening of what happens when all of a sudden these people see things more clearly. And this time of mirrors, which has got to be, like, I swear to God, it's so weird sometimes how this just keeps going. How we don't have, like, the sky opening or something, but it sure seems like it's heating up. Like, this human with the changing colors, the sun is looking extremely weird lately. And my stomach is just growling. It's always like around the same time too. It just starts growling and growling. And I'm like, man, I am hungry. And so, anyways, and then I start thinking of all these, cookies. I should make some cookies. I really like sweet things. So anyways, whatever with the peace treaty thing, but there's a lot of stuff going with the housing market, with the money and everything. It's just going to keep collapsing and collapsing. Because what was it? Oh yeah, because I was saying they were raising the insurance, which was making people not be able to afford their house payments. People are having to sell out their rentals, and because they can't afford to pay, people can't afford the payment. They can't get anybody to rent it for how much their payments are and stuff. And so everything is just going to keep collapsing and collapsing, but it's us, letting it fall, letting it collapse. But, a lot of it is out of necessity, like we've got nothing else they can do. But it's still, however it goes, it's still leading us into a better place. And however it's taken away, you have to heal, you have to go through the process, because it is a releasing process that gets us more into a place of receiving. And so, the abundance, the age of Aquarius is about receiving. And, that, it also, to be able to receive, you have to like yourself. A lot of people don't think they deserve things. Even when good things start happening to them, all they do is sabotage it, because they can't accept that good things can happen to them, because they have no worth, they have no value. And that's the world we live in this very dark world where people don't love themselves. And it's super important. That's why I'm always talking about it, because that is why you need to learn how to love yourself, because this place will keep you in a place of self-deprivation, self-indulgence. There's so much self-indulgence. I was thinking about that too with my dad. I don't remember if I talked about that in the first part or the second part, but being a parent, being a kid from the alcoholic, and there's such a self-indulgence of an alcoholic, and because I think, and I always thought, I mean, they started him with, it's a disease, they've got no control, but I think, you have no control over something. If you surrender to it, you can always pick up the pieces. You can always gain control of yourself. You aren't just like out of control. If you're that out of control, then you would, you wouldn't be on this same level as other souls. So you have abilities to get control of yourself, to get control of all your fetishes, your indulgences, your the things that drive you, the things that you can think you can sneak around and do and stuff. So all of that stuff can be controlled. Somebody can get a hold of your drinking. People do it all the time. People be able to get control of themselves and stop drinking and monitor themselves, and it's done. So even with diseases like cancer too, people can heal themselves from that. It's being done. So we have so much more abilities, so much more. But it is like it is so much about like how you see it, what you believe. You can't heal yourself if you don't believe you can heal yourself. You can't quit drinking if you believe you can't quit drinking. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe you can do these things. I can quit drinking because I don't want to live like this. I don't want to live in this chaos and treating people bad one minute and then having to drink so I forget about how shitty I've been and stuff. So it's better just to face this stuff and heal from it. Let it go. Apologize to people rather than just continue the cycle. But when you're born into those cycles, it does affect you. But, you're born into it for a reason. I just saw a thing talking about, it was probably that QHHT woman again. And she said that a lot of souls, before they're born into, they're following you around, from the time you're a kid. Some of them are following your parents around. So they're attached to the family before they're ever birthed into you. That is more of like our soul kind of connections and stuff. They're already connected to you. It's so weird how so many people think they've got no connection to their families. It's like you've got deep connections to your families, and they may trigger you, which that's a part of it. And those connections are going to be your deepest triggers, but they are here. We're here to be triggered. We're here to go through those things so that we can start to understand ourselves, and we can start letting go of things and healing things and stuff like that. So anyways, that is the purpose. There's a purpose. I just feel like it's so simple when you start trying to understand, what is the reason I'm here? What am I doing here? And you start paying attention to how things go and what people talk about and what people think about and stuff. It starts just making so much sense. It starts being so clear to me. Like, I don't get all the confusion. It seems so clear to me. But we're here to grow. We're here to learn from each other. We're here to experience. We're here to get a handle on ourselves, to find our own balance, to evolve ourselves, and to create storylines and stuff. So anyways, that's how I see it. So, and however tedious that everything keeps playing out, that doesn't mean, we're not going to get our abundance or anything, even though they drag and drag and drag. But there's a reason that things drag the way they do, and it draws different people's attention and stuff, and those people rely on that to be a part of their awakening. So we got to let the things play out the way they play out. All these people who think, that they're meditating into a new reality and stuff like that. Well, the way I understand it, things got to play out the way they got to play out. And we all are depending on the things playing out. And if you were to interrupt somebody's playing out, then you would be interfering with their, what you would be creating an entanglement. You don't want to be just like trying to cut these people off from their awakening. Like, let's just have a mass prayer and we'll just cut them all off and put ourselves in this new world or something. I just think that there's got to be more respect for all the different souls and all the different storylines. And that is, it's coming from the universe. It's coming from God. So you got to, there's a reason, there's a purpose. There's a purpose. We all look at things differently and stuff. There's a reason for it. The universe isn't trying to get us all to conform to be alike. It's not putting us through this so that we all become alike. No, it's because we are the experiencers. We're the storytellers. We're the story writers. We're the ones that give identity to it's like this mind, this consciousness. We give it reference. We give it stories. So it is. There's great validity in you as your own unique self. And it's the challenges is becoming comfortable with your unique self in this density where it's a lot of about conformity and pressure of conformity and an illusion of substance of artificial world of thinking that that's important and that builds your character when it's other things that build you, not this, the yearning for $1 million and to be over other people and go to weird fucking freak out parties or something. So anyways, like there's so many people, who wanted to be friends with some of these people. I wish I knew them. I wish I could be friends. I wish I could go hang out with them. And now you find out what they were doing behind closed doors, because somebody was saying at those parties, every door you open has got something disturbing going on. So it's like all the weirdos come to these things and then they get in their weird groups and do weird shit. And, and some of them, like, they, like, eat excrement, like, I don't know. I've always, like, it seems like very indulgent. You get too indulgent, you get too indulging in things, you're going to find fetish, you're going to find weird shit. And so, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, but what is important, the things that, should be distracting you is learning how to love yourself, learning how to love everybody, and how to have a loving day, a day of peace and joy, because it's coming from you. You're the one who has to, it's what you focus on, it's what you look at, it's what you pay attention. It's going to give you the day you have. So just think about that, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.